me. Great, great is your faithfulness to me. Oh, great is your faithfulness. From the rising sun to the set, I will praise your name, oh, in every season. Great is your faithfulness to me.
When do we want justice for George? When do we want it? Now! When do we want it? Now! Say his name! George Nkencho! 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 What do we want? Justice for George! 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 When do we want it? Now! When do we want it? Now! Say his name! George Nkencho! Say his name! George Nkencho! Say his name! George Nkencho! George Nkencho! What do we want? Justice for George! What do we want?
Everybody, I'll invite everyone to maybe just take 3 deep breaths, to just acknowledge what we are here to do, to acknowledge those that are here and around us, to acknowledge those that have come before us in search of justice, for those as well that have faced the violence of the state, either at the hands of the Gardaí and other forms and arms of the state. So if you join me at this moment, just to take 3 deep breaths.
It has been 365 days since George Nkencho was shot 5 times and killed by the Gardaí in front of his home. 20 minutes. It took 20 minutes for the Gardaí to decide that they will shoot and kill George Nkencho. To the community and the Nkencho family, and to all who are feeling hopeless, to those who think a year has went by and we didn't do anything, or we forgot, or what we're doing here is pointless, I just want to pass the message on, is that it's not the case that we forgot. We were just waiting. We didn't get tired. We were just patient.
We live in a world without you, a birthday without you, a Christmas without you, a summer without you, and many, many football matches without you. I really don't know when or if this pain will stop. I miss you, Young G. I miss our church days. I miss our teenage days and our days as young adults. Our ONG Stars days, our days in the studio, our days in Saka, our hot flow days, and our hell and back days. Or even days where we just chilled and you put butter on my bread and sprinkled some sugar on it.
Some Gardaí took a decision to shoot George Nkencho at close range, on his own doorstep, in front of his family. 2 of those bullets were through George's back. It was an inexplicable decision, particularly as we know at least 2 other incidents within a 2-mile range, within a 6-month time span, where the police arrested men, one who had killed somebody and another who'd actually shot 2 guards. But they managed to talk them down. What was different about George Nkencho? Are we seriously to discount race as a factor at all, when we know, and we have the evidence, that racism exists in a very strong way within the Gardaí? From surveys that they've done themselves. I just want to thank Gloria, Grateful, Emmanuel, Victor, who at many times have had to speak out in very difficult circumstances, playing football, speaking to the media, putting themselves on the front line when they really, this is the last thing that they ever wanted to do. They're an ordinary family. They're a talented family. They're a family that contributes to this community and always has. And let us right and correct the rotten record and the rottenness that was done last year. So thank you.
I would appreciate a resounding round of applause for Gloria Nkencho.
Good evening, everyone. It never gets easier coming up to talk to reporters and to come to talk to everyone here, but I would just like to say thank you for coming out tonight in the rain, in the cold, in the height of COVID, shivering, holding candles, and just coming here to show support to my family. It never gets easier standing up here because, again, I'm reminded that my brother is no longer here. A whole year later, we're still at the same place where guards left, went to my house, and took his life. A whole year later. This morning I woke up around 9, and I thought back to what was I doing at 9 a.m. last year. I was in my bed with my sister waiting for a delivery. That was what I was doing. I thought back to where George was. I thought back to when we heard noise outside my garden. I thought back to when my sister said it's George. And it just reminded me that this wound is going to be here forever. That this wound doesn't heal. It doesn't go away. I just get better at managing it. My family gets better at managing it.
Mere hours after his death, the internet was flooded with vile lies about him, including that he had 39 convictions or had beaten his girlfriend with a hammer. These are proven to have been stemmed from a coordinated campaign of far-right anti-immigrant channels. Protests organised in response to his death were also consciously demonised. The far-right purposely tried to confuse and frighten people in the community and deepen any prejudices people may have already had so that they could polarise the community along racial lines. 35% of people of colour or travellers said they'd been stopped by the guards for no obvious reason, and 45% felt humiliated after encounters with the guards. This same system leads to the chronic underfunding of the healthcare system, which meant George never got access to the mental health services he badly needed.
It's important that not only do we keep George and his family in our minds and in our hearts today, but every day going forward. To the Nkencho family, I want to say that George would be so proud of how you have represented his name, how you've represented yourself and the community while fighting for justice for him. We learned a lot from George's killing. We learned how stigmatised mental health is in Ireland and how ill-equipped we are to deal with someone in crisis. We learned about the deep flaws that we have in our policing system in Ireland and just how badly it needs to be challenged. And we learned more about the undercurrent of racism that is prevalent in our society today.
But that wound stays open. And if I can feel it, imagine what my mom feels, what my dad feels, what my brothers and my sisters feel every day when we see family pictures or we're sitting together at Christmas when we realize that there was one less person there this year. And that pain was caused by a decision that was made in less than 20 minutes to take away somebody that we don't know a life without. My brother's older than me. That Emmanuel, grateful Victor, we don't know a life without.
It is unacceptable that GSOC failed to fulfill their promise to the family to come back with the reports within a year, and that they failed to efficiently interview key witnesses in Gardaí for weeks and months. So now we have to make sure that results come fast, and anything less than a trial for the guard who fired the shots would not be justice.
Whenever somebody loses their life at the hands of the state, where the state has been involved, it is not a private matter alone. It's also a public matter. It is a matter for everybody who lives in a democratic society that there must be accountability.
We've lived in Blanchardstown for probably 19 years. This is where we've lived. This has been our home. We've walked the streets. I went to school, Blakestown. community school. I went to primary school, St. Mary's. That's where George went, and that's where I went. My brothers and sisters went to Hatstown. This has been our home. But in the last year, we have felt like aliens. We have felt isolated, and we have felt not important. Threats, everything. But because of you all standing here today, because of you guys who have come and show support, we are reminded that we matter in this community. That we are actually not alone. No matter what they say on Twitter, on Facebook, wherever they printed it, it's a lie and we know it. And you all know it. And you all standing here today are making a difference. Because when we do get justice, because we will get justice. You can remember that you all that stood here, you all that spread the good news are the reason it made it happen. It's not just because of my family, but it's because people like you have decided that this was not right. And decided that they will not get away with it. Because they think, okay, if we be quiet, they might forget about it. We don't. No. We haven't forgotten. No. And we will never forget. And we will continue to make noise. And we will continue to come out and remind you that George Nkencho's life matters. Thank you.
What do we want? When do we want it? Now. What do we want? When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice for George.
When do we want it?
Now.
Say his name.
George Nkencho. George Nkencho. George Nkencho. George Nkencho. And I hope that you all, as you leave this evening, can find your respective communities, can find your respective friends that will provide that healing, that will find that safety, seeing that the guardians of peace on Garda Síochána no longer provide that to us. This is not just an issue of race, but of class. Of class. The name George Nkencho isn't just some abstract connotation or imagination of a being, but a brother. Blood. For we all here this evening are all brothers and sisters. We all here are all of the human race.
Oh, victory belongs to Jesus. Victory belongs to Him. Victory belongs to Jesus.